Kairi Sane got a very interesting conversation going with her social media activity. So we'll see what's going on with that. We'll also see what's new with Kevin Owens, Karrion Kross, and much more. Let's start things off with an interesting fan theory that Kairi Sane herself is adding some fuel to. So the November 10th edition of Smackdown was arguably one of the biggest days in history for Damage CTRL. That edition of Smackdown saw Damage CTRL gain not one, but two new members to the group, with both Kairi Sane and Asuka joining the faction. SmackDown ended with that very scary shot of Damage CTRL truly looking like they have enough power to truly control the entire women's division. But fans are already a bit suspicious of this new 2.0 version of Damage CTRL. Like Bayley has been addressing herself, the last time Kairi Sane was back in WWE in 2020, her last appearance involved getting absolutely destroyed backstage by Bayley with a brutal attack. But Kairi entered the ring now all these years later and seemed to instantly forgive Bayley for whatever reason. And right when you think things couldn't get even more suspicious, Asuka joins the group too out of nowhere. So fans just think that something else could be brewing here for Kairi Sane and Asuka. Two women who have a lot of bad history with Bayley to suddenly just forgive Bayley and willingly put themselves under her leadership with no real explanation given at all. So some fans were bringing up this point on Twitter, talking about how they feel like Damage CTRL could have a secret plan that they're putting together right now to overthrow Bayley. How they'll keep things nice and calm to earn Bayley's trust, and then fully strike on her when Bayley least expects it. And funny enough, Kairi Sane actually left a like from her official Twitter account on that post from a fan talking about the group plotting behind Bayley's back, leading many fans to wonder if Kairi Sane basically just confirmed that theory. If WWE is gonna go that route, hopefully it's more of a slow burn because the story has a lot of potential to be great. Bayley is a character that mostly is all about herself, and with her group extending to even larger, it should make her go even more mad with power. So it'll be nice to see that arc fully play out for Bayley. She thinks she's fully untouchable right now, more than ever, thinks that nothing could stop her, and maybe that's when the group could start to truly plot against her, which could lead up to that big moment of Damage CTRL overthrowing Bayley as the leader. It's sort of like what they did with Edge being kicked out of the Judgment Day, but that moment in story felt a bit rushed and didn't really have enough time to fully flesh out. So if we could see a slow burning version of what happened to Edge take place now with Bayley and Damage CTRL, that could be very interesting to watch unfold. Bayley could just be manipulated by the rest of the group to believe that they all worship the ground she walks on and listens to every single demand she dishes out. But the entire time, they'll be plotting behind her back. Bayley was already left out of the loop with Kairi's return at Crown Jewel, so that goes to show you that there could possibly be more sneaky plans happening that Bayley is clueless about. Bayley is a heel character, so you're instantly not supposed to feel bad for her, but if the group is really plotting behind her back, things could be coming towards a tragic end, where her creation could continue without her if the group eventually gets fed up that they kick her out of the group. So keep your eyes glued on that situation, and especially keep your eyes on Bayley's behavior and how she treats the other members, because that could all play a big role in the events of the future. There's some unfortunate news for Karrion Kross and Scarlett. It was reported several weeks ago that a big program and push was moments away from starting up for Karrion Kross. But every time that moment came around, his story kept getting delayed and postponed. And it looks like that's unfortunately what has happened once again. It was reported that Karrion Kross's story was supposed to kick off right around Crown Jewel, but that obviously wasn't the case. So his entire story is once again up in the air, and we'll have to see if he ever ends up kicking off here in the coming weeks. Kevin Owens was on the commentary this week on Smackdown, filling in for Corey Graves, who was celebrating the birth of his newborn child with Carmella. And the one condition that Smackdown general manager Nick Aldis gave Kevin was that he couldn't get physical with anyone. Well, it didn't take long until Austin Theory and Grayson Waller came out to ringside to irk Kevin Owens and even dump a drink over his head. Kevin Owens got up from the commentary and proceeded to attack both Theory and Waller. But that relation didn't come without any consequences. It was then announced by Nick Aldis that Kevin Owens has been suspended from SmackDown indefinitely. However, Kevin Owens appeared the next night at a WWE live event, but they didn't give a storyline explanation for Owens being at the show following the suspension. Kevin Owens said that Nick Aldis was allowing him to complete his prior obligations before the suspension comes into play. So that explained why Owens still appeared on the live event show after SmackDown. But as far as the actual SmackDown goes, from the November 17th edition onwards, Kevin Owens is suspended until further notice. Usually when it comes to suspension storyline angles like this, they don't really tend to last that long. It usually lasts around 1 to 2 weeks before the superstar in question is reinstated fully. Kevin Owens could appear as soon as the November 17th edition of SmackDown as a trespasser, so you just never really know what the direction is for suspension angles like this. But the one solid fact we do know is that there never really is any dragging on, thankfully. So Kevin Owens should be back on SmackDown soon, and will continue his solo run that he's on following the split from Sami Zayn. And reports have been claiming that there's a lot of big solo plans in store for Kevin Owens. So this suspension appears to be the big kickstart for all those upcoming plans. The legendary Trish Stratus was shockingly active in WWE for a majority of 2023. She had first returned earlier in the year before WrestleMania and stuck around as a regular reoccurring superstar on the roster all the way until her final match with Becky Lynch at September's Payback Premium Live event. Everyone figured that this was the end of the run for Trish Stratus, but considering how often Trish comes out of retirement, fans wondered if it truly was her last ever match. Well, Trish Stratus recently spoke with Chris Van Vliet and told him about how she wouldn't mind coming back again to win her 8th WWE Women's Championship. She had this to say about her future WWE plans. Quote, "When I embarked on the journey, I came back for WrestleMania. Let's do this little program. Suddenly, heel Trish had to come alive. Then it just kept going and going. I got to do things I didn't get to do, right? Ladder match, Saudi Arabia, cage match. To be able to dip my toes into the current landscape and check boxes that I wasn't able to check back in the day was pretty amazing. Yeah, I mean, I could become an 8-time champ. That sounds good to me. Why not?" End quote. So, as always, if it makes sense and is a perfect story and journey, Trish Stratus would be down to come back for another run in WWE. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.